When you start doing audio reviews, you really start. You realize you either have to borrow a lot of things, or steal a lot of things, or buy a lot of things and give them away. And one of the things I decided to buy, possibly with the thought of giving it away, was this Shure Electronics amplifier. And I bought it because it satisfied a need that I was looking for, which is a small, stereo, remote controlled amplifier that takes a digital input, has a subwoofer out, and has a Bluetooth. This is the perfect amplifier. Headphone out, auxiliary in, it's got a remote. You could get to your phone, 2.0 or 2.1, you run the wires to it. It's got a sub out for dedicated. Oh my god. Plug a SPDIF in right from your cable box or from your television out. It's the perfect amplifier. I ran it for about literally 2 months. I just didn't want to take it off my television. It was okay. It was... I wasn't 100% sure on the sound quality because television broadcasts suck. I plugged auxiliary into it and it sounded meh. So I brought it here to the lab, and within 4 hours of me actually testing it and plugging headphones in, the left channel completely blew out. And that was after I determined that something sounds wrong with it. Kind of like the topping sounded wrong, this sounded wrong. And I would be really upset and buy another one if it didn't have so many other problems before that. In the 2 months that I had it, I had to discover, its ins and outs. And one in is... Actually, they're all going to be pretty much outs. Here's the front. It has this universal... I'll plug it in so it sort of lights up. There you go. You can see around the ring there. Around the ring, it pulsates orange. Ooh, it's pulsating orange. So you turn it on by pressing this in for a second, and there's no lights anymore. Now it's on, and it shows you on by having no lights appear. That's fine. I have no problem with that. It's a quirk. I like to have a little red light or something showing me that it's on, because I left this thing on 24 hours a day because I can never tell it was on or off. So now let's get to the remote. It's got a couple buttons here. Obviously power. This was volume. Yeah. See, it lights up the right side of the dial if you're going volume up, and the left side if you're volume down. And then you have source switch, because this does have 4 source inputs. It's got RCA's is 1, I think. 2 is SPDIF. 3 is the front auxiliary, and 4 is Wi-Fi. So you would switch it, and it would blink for the corresponding input you're on. Blink twice, SPDIF. Blink 3 times, auxiliary. Blinked 4 times, Wi-Fi. And blinked once. Now, the only way you get it to indicate is you have to press this button, or this one, press this button, and it would... I'm on input 1 blink. So if I'm on input 4, and I want to know what input I'm on, I have to press this button on the remote and find out. So let's lose this remote. By the way, this button does nothing. Absolutely nothing. The other guy that bought this to me contacted them, and they were like, no, it doesn't do anything. So let's look at this without the remote. Can you turn it on? Yes. Can you control the volume? Yes. Can you switch sources? Nope. You lose that remote, you can't switch sources. And get this. My Cablevision remote, I had this set up, and my sister came over and she was changing it. I said, there's no sound. Why? Source changed. Okay, I switched it back. She's watching TV. There's no sound. Apparently, 2 buttons on my Cablevision remote. 2, not just 1. The volume down button and the menu navigate right button freaked this out and made it change sources. So now I had electrical tape over the infrared, which completely removes one of the main features of this amplifier, because it's way too... I mean, I've never had it happen where one remote controls another since the 80s. When I was a little kid, I remember 1 or 2 remotes would do funky things, but that shit stopped. So the fact that today, 2014, this thing receives from another remote and gets a signal and fucks everything up is odd and rare. Also, when you turn the volume knob on the unit, it's one step. When you control with this, it's 2 steps. And since this is a 100 watt per channel amp, I forgot to mention that. I forgot to mention this is 100 watts per channel claimed. All right. When you like six clicks, it's a full rotary encoder here. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's like, I don't know, 2.5, 3 hours worth of turns was loud. And on the remote, it's 2 steps. So it's muted, audible, more audible, loud. So that's, you literally have 3 steps of volume with the remote. And my source was real low. My cable box pushes out nearly no voltage, and so I put the SPDIF in, and that worked fine. But you know, it's still just loud. All right, so you can't control the volume. You can't switch sources without the remote. The remote switches automatically, so you have to pretty much cover this unless you're not using anything else but this in the room. I tried the headphone out, and it sounded like poop. It would push a lot. It was able to, you know, it wasn't a weak headphone output, but you know, I had it. I turned it. I just kept turning that dial, and it does the same thing every amp does, where it doesn't have a separate volume for the amp and this, and also the source switching. Oh my god! If you switch sources, you had a low source and switch sources to a high source, it just blows shit up, man. Blow shit up, man. Comes with this monster power brick. This is a 24 volt 5 amp, which actually, if I'm keeping this setup, I could use this for my potentiometer thing. I'm about to. Oh, it's DC, isn't it? Son of a bitch. Actually, it doesn't say if it's AC or DC output. It's got to be. Input output. Doesn't say DC. Presuming it is. Yeah, I mean the overall build quality is nice. They put these feet awfully close together for some reason. No, it's an aluminum box. It's got all this stuff. Oh, piece de resistance. So bring it here. I want to try the sub out because I couldn't try it at home. I didn't have a sub next to that television. I wasn't going to drag my sub around. So I hook it up to the Emotiva 6.1s. All right, good speakers, good bass response. You know, on their own. But you know, you said when you plug it in, it's going to activate. It's going to cut some of the lows from the speakers and put it down to a sub. It cut everything. I mean, had to be a cutoff at 150 to 200 hertz. The only speakers that would have sounded okay with this sub just plugged in, because I had the sub off, just plugged in, would have been like a set of Bose cubes, like those little freaking tiny tweeter ones. It was just unusable amounts of cutoff. Like, what's the point? Like the Micas go to like 70, so you want to cut off 70, 80, and then you got, you know, Dayton's, they cut off pretty high. This thing, when you plugged in this sub out, put out 0 bass to the speakers, just none. They sounded shrill and shitty, and I couldn't use it. I couldn't use it. No matter how much I adjusted that sub, I could not use it with that sub out. So now, the sub out's useless. Throw that away. The volume control is a little bit annoying. I could see getting around that. Wi-Fi worked really well. You know, it just broadcast, Shure Electronics, and you know, any phone could hook up to it. The fact that you can't switch sources on the unit itself, and you have to dig out this little remote, which, by the way, here you would go volume up, and sometimes it would go up, and then you'd hit volume down, and sometimes it would go up, down, up, 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 down, down. Okay, yeah, it was so annoying. So this is a not recommended purchase. I really wish it was perfect. Imagine if this was perfect. This was $90 plus $37 shipping direct from China, because they don't have it anywhere else but on their website. I'll link their website below, but I do not recommend you buying one unless they come out and say, hey, yeah, we know we did everything fucking wrong and we're going to fix it. Because that's paper in there, by the way. That's just like cardboard. But at least it reflects the LEDs, unlike, you know, the topping amps and other things that don't even reflect around. If this worked, man, it would have been one of these on every television in everyone's home. They would have just remote control, plug in their speakers in their television, it would have been golden. It would have been golden. This is what everyone wants. Everyone wants this to work. Crafted in China. Crafted in China by drunk Italians. I'm allowed to say that because I'm Italian. But it will take 12 to 36 volts. Like that matters. I don't think it matters. It doesn't fix the features that are just fucked up on this. Oh well. It would have been nice. It would have been nice. It would have been the soundbar replacement king. It would have been buy this and any speakers you want and a subwoofer and you're done. No receivers needed. Just this. But no. I hate bad reviews. Now I got this thing. If anyone wants it, how about this? I will give this to anyone who wants it. It's got no left channel. Left channel puts out either horrible static or nothingness. I just plugged it in to test it and it put out nothingness. It really sucks. Who wants it? Who wants it?